Denver Nuggets. Coach Malone joining us right now on the Michael Malone Show. Coach, good morning to you. How are you, sir?
Doing well, man. Doing well. Good to be on with you guys.
We appreciate you making some time. We're obviously having the conversation about the game, Coach, and we always, I try to come up with ways to just ask you about Nikola, and today I just want to share this with you. We found it out yesterday. He could be the first player ever to reach 2,000 points, 1,000 rebounds, and 500 assists. He really has to get 25 and 5. That's rebounds.
He needs 76 points and 14 rebounds to do that.
He can get it here in the next couple of games. Just more of a reason to point at his greatness and a reason for repeat of MVP.
Yeah, I mean the list of stats and historical accomplishments that are attached to Nikola's name after every game is just incredible. Obviously, yesterday, 38 points, 18 rebounds, 6 assists, and I heard something after the game. I think there's only 4 players in the league this year that have like 90-plus steals and 50-plus blocks, and Nikola's one of them. So for all the haters out there that always say, well, Nikola's a good player, but he's not a good defensive player, you don't have to be an athlete that can touch the top of the backboard to be a great defender. And I think Nikola, 3 steals, 2 more blocks yesterday, kind of shows that. So, yeah, he's an incredible player. He joked with me on the plane flying home yesterday that he wanted to get all of his turnovers out of the way in the first 3 minutes because he had, I think 4 of them. But after that first 5 minutes, obviously we took care of the ball at a much higher level. And, Nikola he does things that you marvel at every single night.
Hey, when you look at that game, and we go back to the Minnesota game, and I want to pick out Will Barton also because I think we've all been critical of him at times and everything else. Really struggled shooting the ball in Minnesota, but I thought he had a real bounce-back game offensively anyway, and really made some shots and really had some big-time contributions and really seemed engaged in that game yesterday.
Oh, Will was great. I singled him out in the post-game locker room. Going into the game, I didn't think he was going to play. Training staff had told me he was literally a game-time decision, and very thankful he did play, Scott, because as you mentioned, 25 points, but more importantly, the efficiency in which he did it. 8 of 12 from the field, and he knocks down 6 of 8 threes. We went on, I think, like a 25-14 run to close that game out and pull away, and Will was a big part of it. We ran a certain play over and over and over again, and Will was shooting into a big basket. He was engaged, and we needed him. This time of the year, everybody's playing with bumps and bruises, and finding a way to fight through that and contribute to the cause is really important, and that's exactly what Will did yesterday. And that was a big win for us, and we have 3 to go. And we have to continue to protect our home court because, we have teams that are right behind us. And we want to do everything we can to stay out of that play-in.
Coach Michael Malone is our guest. And Coach, another person contributing, I think, just impactful points, Boogie Cousins. I mean, Boogie is just physical, but he doesn't overtake that second unit. He doesn't try and, do anything that just disrupts that chemistry. How have you been able to place Boogie Cousins in such an impactful role and keep the chemistry of this team while doing so? Just amazing.
Yeah, I think, DeMarcus is probably coming off of his worst game as a Denver Nugget against Minnesota. And he's a pro. He's a former All-Star. He knows when he plays well, and he knows when he doesn't play well. And I went up to him after the game last night. I said, you were really good tonight. You helped that second unit. Nikola got in early foul trouble, and you kind of held the line for us. And he goes, well, I had to do that after my last game. So he understands what he means to this team. And when he goes out there, for whatever minutes he's out there backing up Nikola Jokic, he has to defend, he has to rebound, he has to contribute on the offensive end of the floor, and he's got to, constantly fight his emotions and control his emotions. And yesterday, I thought he, Bones, and Davon Reed, who I thought was the unsung hero of the game, were fantastic off the bench for us. And we're going to need that and more from everyone moving forward.
Talking to Coach Michael Malone, he's presented by the Central City Casino Parkway. You take the 4 lanes to fun. It's I-70 to exit 243. Coach, looking back at yesterday's game, and I know it's a guy you have a lot of trust in Davon Reed. He can knock down big shots. He's so engaged defensively. And I saw him getting after Monte a little bit in a game where, in a possession where he thought he could dish it back off. He said, "Dish the ball, Tay." I thought it was kind of cool coming from Davon Reed. Is he a guy you look at as playoff rotation dude, or is it kind of game by game how the flow and feel is going?
Yeah, I think as you have guys like Davon Reed, you have guys like Brent Forbes, who has not played nearly as much as of late, a guy like Facu, who was a starter on a team last year in the playoffs that won a series. You know, like I was talking with Facu yesterday before the game, like just letting him know, I know you're not playing right now, and I know it's killing you because you're a competitor, but I want you to know I know who you are, and I know what you've done for us, and that's not lost on me. And I know if I need you, that you're going to be ready to play. And that's important for you to stay mentally ready. But for guys like that, depending upon who you're playing, the matchup, the game, the personality of a game, you know, will dictate that. But in light of just specifically speaking about Davon Reed, every time he's gotten a chance to play this year, he has had impactful minutes. We've beaten the Lakers twice. The game at home, he went out there and had great examples of guarding LeBron James. Not easy to do. Last night, he comes off the bench, 10 points, knocks down 2 threes, had a couple of big defensive plays. So I trust him. And if we have to go to Davon Reed, I have no hesitation to do so. We are without, like right now, Jeff Green was away from the team. Zeke Najee's hurt. Vlatko Čančar is hurt. We got few bigs. We have a bunch of smalls, and we don't have many wings. You know, that's what we're missing. When you lose a Michael Porter, a P.J. Dozier, a Vlatko, we don't have many wings, and Davon Reed is a guy that can kind of fill that wing spot, and I trust him doing so.
And I think you talked about it yesterday, too, that, you know, and defense has been topical, and well, it should be, especially down the stretch. You're scoring a lot of points, which is just amazing with the depleted roster and some of the names you missed. Offensively, you're fine. But when it mattered, at least yesterday, you got in a little bit of a defensive mode. How do you stretch that now from, 12 minutes to 24 to 36 here in really just 3 games before the playoffs start?
Yeah, that was, we landed in L.A. the other day and had a meeting, watched film from the Minnesota game, and I also just addressed, listen, our last 5 games were 25th in defensive efficiency. We're 4th in offensive efficiency. Part of the reason we're 25th in defense is because we're giving up 25 points a night on our turnovers. So our defense is being compromised by our offense. So I think our offense can help our defense out a lot, Scott, by taking care of it. Yesterday, only 12 turnovers. Think about it. Against Minnesota, we scored 130 points. We had 18 turnovers for 30 points. We could have scored 150 points that game if we would have just taken care of the damn basketball. So I think that's where it starts. And then the biggest area of concern for me is always getting back in transition and defending our paint. These guys yesterday, the Lakers, at halftime, I told the players, I go, guys, they have 42 paint points at halftime, which is an incredible number because I don't know if you guys understand this, but that means they're on pace for 84 in a game. That's unheard of. So we have to do a better job of protecting our paint. And all they're looking to do is run the ball down our throat. Get back. Have just a much greater sense of urgency to get back and stop hesitating, stop ball watching, stop being lazy, and then getting back after they've rebounded. It's too late then. So I think our guys understand that. As you mentioned, in the fourth quarter, only allowed 24 points on 34% from the field, which are great numbers. But moving forward, as you mentioned, Scott, we can't be doing that just one quarter a game. That's got to be a lot more consistent throughout.
Coach Michael Malone's our guest. And, Coach, you got the Spurs tomorrow night at home, finishing a 3-game homestand to end the season. What's going to be important about going to that game tomorrow night, getting that W?
Well, I mean, it's, I don't get caught up in the Spurs, the Lakers, the Grizzlies, the Lakers to close the season. To me, it's always about us first and foremost. And as I just touched on, when we're playing good basketball, the ball is moving and we're taking care of it. We're such a fun team to watch. Even yesterday, 33 assists. The ball is flying around. Everybody's involved. So can we continue to take care of the basketball, not fuel the team's breaks, Can our defense be a lot more disciplined and focused for as close to 48 minutes as possible? Can we rebound the basketball, which we've done at a high level all year long, but lately it's been a concern. And when we do all those things, regardless of who we're playing, we put ourselves in a position to win games at a high level. Yesterday was our last road game of the regular season, and we have 25 road wins. Franchise record. We only have 22 home wins, unfortunately. So we have 3 more home games to try to protect our home court at a much higher level than we have all season long. And that's the plan, and that's our goal.
Talking to Coach Michael Malone, a couple more for you, Coach. And you mentioned Jeff Green missing some time for personal stuff. Do you think Uncle Jeff will be able to be back maybe tomorrow? This week you got Memphis, and, of course, know what he means to the team, and, of course, that locker room presence. Do you think he'll make his return this week?
Yeah, hopefully. Obviously, any time a player has something they have to take care of with their family, Jeff Green is a husband and father first and foremost. So, you give them whatever time they need. But from everything that I've heard, I'm led to believe is that he will be back in uniform for the Nuggets tomorrow night, which is a good thing.
Hey, Coach, last thing you mentioned Davon a while ago. When do you guys as a team, when does the playoff rosters have to be set? Because don't they do it through rounds now as far as, okay, you can have this, but then you can add and take away each round you go. But when do those things have to be in?
Yeah, that's obviously a discussion that Tim Connolly and I are having. It's funny, the last few years because of COVID, the rules have been kind of bouncing around a little bit because in a COVID season, you were allowed to use a two-way player on your playoff roster, and now that we're back to a regular season, if you will, a full season, 82 games, I believe right now it's back to the old rules where you cannot use a two-way player on your playoff roster. So now it's a question of, how do you, like I'm sure other teams in the league are looking at, for guys that are two-way players that are rotation players, how do you create a roster spot and transfer that player from being a two-way player to a guy on your roster, which makes him playoff eligible? So, having those discussions, obviously that deadline is rapidly approaching with only 3 regular season games remaining. But I'll lean on Tim Connolly in the front office to kind of figure out what our options are with Davon Reed and what we can do with him.
Coach, last one for you. Talking to Coach Michael Malone on the Coach Malone Show. Well, I don't know what your schedule is, but I'm assuming you got some time off this evening. You're going to catch a national championship. You got some Blue Buds in Kansas and North Carolina for a natty tonight.
Yeah, obviously we worry about the San Antonio Spurs first and foremost tomorrow night. They're playing well. They're 7-3 in their last 10, and they won in Portland last night. So that's my primary focus with 3 games remaining for the Nuggets and our magic number being 2. But, of course, obviously the national championship, I was able to catch a little bit of the one of the games the other night. I think it was a Carolina-Duke game. I was able to watch a little bit of that as I was grabbing something to eat in L.A. And, this time of the year, national championship, great night. And, if I get a chance to watch some of it, I definitely will.
All right, there he is. Coach Michael Malone with us. A few more weeks. And, Coach, I know you give a ton of credit. My man Ryan's been great about what you've done this year, Coach, with this team,
Coach
and obviously fueled by Nikola, man. You guys have an opportunity at 50 wins here, Coach, with the banged-up roster, man. Congratulations. And you know what? From just a basketball fan, thanks, dude. Thanks for making this season awesome.
Have fun.
Yeah, it's funny, man. I really appreciate you saying that. I was in L.A. yesterday, and Josh Kroenke was at the game. Spent some time with him after, and he kind of said something similar because as a coach, you have a bunker mentality. You're in it game by game, and you enjoy the wins for a minute, and the losses devastate you. And then sometimes you forget to come up and just kind of take proper perspective on the season. And he said to me yesterday, Coach, you guys have won 47 games without 2 max players. How many teams, how many coaches, how many groups of guys could do something like that? So he goes, I hope you're enjoying this because it really has been a tremendous season considering everything. And to your point, I appreciate you saying that. It's and I give our guys and our coaching staff so much credit because they've been phenomenal the whole season. But we're not done yet. We have a lot of work yet to do, and we're excited about it.
Well, yeah, and appreciate it because you might not have a roster listen to you this well again, Coach. I mean, you've been coaching this long. Appreciate that part, too.